So first thing we're going to be using is thermal imaging.
Cool.
So thermal imaging, you guys can see me in that camera. Oh, good. I don't have to wave it around. Good.
Right.
So with that said, I should be orange, red, and yellow. There's going to be a little blue dot that bounces around that gives us the coldest spot on the frame at that given time.
Okay.
But we're looking for blue and black spots, which are the colder areas, to move on their own. Now, even with a smaller group like this, it might be a little difficult to keep somebody's skin in there because we're going to be the warmest thing out here, right? 97 to 99 degrees. You want to try to do that because when you take me out, the orange, red, and yellow goes to other places, and it kind of tightens up the variance of temperature. We want a big range. So anything like cars are probably going to be between like 69 and 77. Obviously, I'm going to be 97 and 99. So it's almost a 30-degree difference.
Okay.
So again, it is recording. We're going to start and stop throughout the night just because the software for this isn't super great, and I don't want to lose any footage of great haunted locations.
Okay.
So I'll always tell you when we're going to start and stop.
Okay.
Right now, it's already recording, so you kind of have the tutorial on how to watch it. So when you guys start watching it on your own, it also records audio. So it's a secondary point of audio for us for even those EVPs on that end. So you're going to go with this guy.
All right, I got
Keep it horizontal whenever you are recording.
Okay.
Because it does go to YouTube, then back to my website. So all of your data's in the your camera's on your left-hand side.
Oh, so I just put my finger over. This one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay.
You're like, why
Yeah.
is it all yellow?
It was turned dark. Yeah. Or white. Yeah.
Say that last sentence again.
Which one?
Turn it off when you're walking.
Yeah, so I'll always
So
give you the
that's
cues.
the red
All right.
thing?
Yeah,
Right
that's the
there,
red
that
square.
button?
Yeah.
Okay.
And he'll say when to turn
Yep,
off.
and it'll turn to a circle when you hit it. So that's the
Okay.
difference.
That's cool.
All right, so Miss Maureen, you're going to be using 2 different types of spirit boxes tonight. So let me kind of go through these, and you guys know what spirit boxes are because you watch TV.
Yeah.
But
Zach and Aaron. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Who doesn't love watching Zach push Aaron into a dark room and say, I'm going to go somewhere else?
And he'll go. Yeah, we're gonna tie you up.
Yeah, we're going to tie you up. We're not sure if this place is haunted yet or not.
Let
But
us know.
you
We'll
let us
be
know.
right outside.
We're on
That's
a walkie-talkie in the van. We're good.
Yeah, that's right.
So I watch a lot of those just for, obviously sheer humor, because on my end, you're going to see, we go after real history, and I like to conclude things. I want to find out what does that
That's
mean?
a part of that I don't,
Yeah, they always ended on this is what happened. Okay, why did it happen?
Yeah. Is there any history behind it?
Yeah,
Behind
exactly.
it.
You never
That's I think why we kind of stopped watching for a while. It's like, well, tell us the
So
story.
Yeah,
Grant is
I
really
agree.
good. He actually has, what's the name of that show? His is Ghost Hunters, and then Zach and Aaron is Ghost Adventures.
Oh,
Okay.
We
So
recorded
yeah, Grant is
both
really
of them,
good.
I think, at
I
one
like
point.
Grant a lot better than Zach. So your first spirit box. This is going to sweep through FM radio stations at a quick rate. Normally on your TV shows, they just want the white noise for those disembodied voices. Mine are slowed down on purpose. I use several different types, but this one records. I'll get into that in a minute. The reason why it's slowed down is I want the radio chatter to come through. I want you to tell me whatever the DJs say, the song lyrics, the commercials. In the event you can make any of it out, because it's going to move pretty quick, and it is as slow as I can make it. If we can make it out, it's a 50-50 shot. I can tie it to the location of where we are, a person in history I'm talking about, or something even going on with one of us.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you guys brought somebody with you, hopefully they'll use the spirit box to communicate back. This does record the entire session for us, even on mute. It's already started. It's already recording. It's not going to record any outside noise. So my little speech is not going to be on here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to record at a nice, even level of volume. So even when I say, let's go ahead and turn that down so I can give you the history here, it's fine. It's still recording at an even level. I don't know how it does it, but that's why we have it.
Mm-hmm.
So you only have one button to worry about on this guy. It's a wheel at the top. So obviously when I'm giving you history, go ahead and find that and kind of play with it for a minute.
It's on the top. So
Okay.
can you feel it?
Yes.
Just kind of wheel it back.
There you go. Perfect. So obviously when I'm kind of going through this kind of thing, you always want to keep it down. Because when you're listening to it, you want to keep focused because it is hard to listen to. It is not an easy task to do. But that's why you also have me here. Tomorrow morning when I'm going through your data, because I'm going to spot check it. I'm not going to listen to all of it. I'm not going to watch all of it. I'm going to look for certain things and kind of move along. Because again, that's what you guys paid me for. You guys want the full investigation, you're going to get it. I'm just there to help you kind of coerce, like, oh, this is what I heard. Here's why it's relevant.
So why?
Okay.
So this, I need to find a staticky channel. You said?
No, you want me to
because
do
it records at the same
right.
volume.
Yeah, we don't want just white noise. I want the song lyrics and DJs and all the little stuff to come through. So let's say a DJ comes through and says, "Welcome to Charleston." The word "welcome," and it's not relevant, but let's say it is relevant. It's that one word that's going to be specific. We'll put it down.
Where's that?
It's just the other way.
There you go.
Spin it the other way. Yeah, you spin it one way or the other.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm
Yeah,
not
it's
really
just
on
a
the
volume.
station. I thought it was certain.
No, it's if you flip it around, you can see the numbers that are flipping through all the different
Oh,
radio
it's
stations.
finding
Yeah, it's
that.
already doing it. So
Okay,
I already
this
have it
is
set up.
only the volume.
Yep, that's it. I make it nice
okay.
and easy for you.
Yeah,
You don't have to do anything. All you got to do is listen.
Okay.
Right.
So again, when I say let's turn that spirit box up a little bit, that's when we're going to listen together because we're in a tight group here. So I can help you out. That's going to record audio. Obviously, I'll have my audio going. So the second spirit box, if we're having a hard time with just that one itself, I can actually just hang on to this and let it run. But I still want to show it to you. So what this one does is it's going to give us a word in the center of the screen, kind of like the Ovilus pieces that they use on the TV shows. It's a little box with 2 antennas on it. It gives you a word from time to time. Then it's going to save all those words to a list. Last night's tour, they had 75 different terms that showed up. The reason why I like this is it gives me timestamps. So in the event of those timestamps, if something right, and then I can look on the video, I can listen to the audio, so I know what time frame that we're in. 80% of this, pardon my French, it's absolute bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. It's the other 5 to 20% that's going to be specific and detailed based on the location, a person, or one of us. So that's really what we're looking for here. We're going to clear them out and start your list off fresh because they already have theirs from last night. You don't have to do anything with this. At times, all I'll say is, where we at with the list? You hit that little white button next to the word, right here on the right, your right, and then you hit this little circle back at the top right.
And so there'll be some words in there.
Oh, yeah.
There's already words.
Yep, now the word radical, I think, was the last word on the last ghost
Oh,
time.
no, they
switch
seem to
already?
be scrambling.
Yeah, so all of this is all aesthetic because this is an app that's meant to scare you. Just think of a college kid playing drinking games. If it says a name, take a shot. If it says, under the bed, take a shot. Kind of thing. But we do get very specific details out of this. The game we are playing with this is the word that we're seeing coming from the app or is it coming from a ghost? That's how we're going to look at that guy.
Okay.
The tool I'll be using and throwing in my pocket. So this is called a millimeter, and I'm just going to keep this in my side pocket and kind of pull it out in between our history pieces. So what this does, you guys have seen the EMF detectors with all the blinky lights?
Yeah.
This is the same thing, way more accurate. So the top number is going to give us EMF. Anything above 2.5, I'm going to get excited about and try to debunk it. I've seen this one go all the way up to 150. The ones you see on TV only go up to 25.
Okay.
You find something on there that we can't figure out what that cold spot is, we're going to debunk it with the temperature right here. It's measuring it through an ambient probe at the very top.
Okay.
The last thing that it has is a motion sensor. It's called a REM pod. So you guys have seen these where they set them up in the middle of a room and say,
absolutely.
close.
Yeah, those are cool.
So as you get close to it, it'll go off. The closer it goes, the higher the pitch. So I don't always use that because it can be annoying on the audio, so I'll kind of use that when we're really investigating and I'm not telling any history. So this guy will kind of just stay in my side pocket, and I'll pull it out from time to time. Cargo pants are my best friend.
Right.
So we're all loaded up. Let's talk about why we're here. You can go ahead and turn that down for right now as far as the... I know, I threw a lot of devices at you really fast.
Well, that's okay.
We'll figure it out. The other way.
Oops, the other way. I just need to
You probably need to flip it around. Because you keep...
I need to flip it around.
There you go.
You're looking at it?
So you're actually seeing it. There you go.
Now you
I don't
can-
know what I was thinking. Okay, so now I
Yeah, roll it that way.
And if I roll it that way, okay, and it's just going to...
Yeah, it'll just... Yeah, it's still recording, so we're fine. So I'm going to listen to it in the morning, give you about 15 to 20 markers, and on the Spirit Box stuff, in the event something comes up that's relevant, I'm always going to give you the link of where I got my information. So it's not going to be because your tour guide told you. It's going to be because Eliza Pinkney told you, or Big John told you. You know, those kind of things. And I'm just going to show you where they told me to tell you.
Okay.
So, Big John's. This place actually just reopened a few weeks ago. It's a big hotspot right now. It used to be, you could see, established 1955, right there on the side of the building. Big John's back then as well. It's named after a football player. His name was Big John Kennedy. Like candy, only with an extra A and an N.
Okay.
So, but he played for the 1947 New York Giants, and this was his place. He used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel, if they were old enough to drink or not. He knew everybody. So one night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. He has the bartender throw them out. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John sees what's going on. He starts pounding these guys into the floor, like beating the hell out of them. It's his bar, and now they're trying to take his money.
Right.
So a couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck, but the bullet lands in the wall. John gets up after being shot, goes back to the bartender, and tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the 2 guys on the floor, an ambulance. Okay, so first off, a couple of pointers. John's the only one that got shot. He's the only one that got up. Second, nobody died in that story. It's the bullet hole that haunts the place. They just renovated it. I still have yet to get in there to actually check to see if it's still there.
Okay.
People that sit in the front of the bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous, headaches. It's also the only place I've ever gotten EMF from the device that I'm using tonight from time to time. I bring the story up on purpose. It's the reason why we start here. If either of you are feeling any of those things tonight, I need to know immediately. So nauseous, headache, dizziness, any of those kind of things. Fingers crossed, we're going to be dealing with paranormal activity. Psychics normally don't make it through my tour. I'm just going to put it out there. They usually pass out. They just can't handle it.
Okay.
Let's get our mind off our own health. Maureen's looking like, oh my God, what did I sign up for? So, we had a big earthquake here in 1886. Okay, so if you haven't taken any of the Charleston tours, they all talk about it. I'm going to talk about it too, because this is apparently where the first death occurred. The mantle you see in the middle of the building, the big white piece, also wraps around the front. Piece of it broke off, struck somebody in the head, and killed him based off that earthquake. They say you could see his ghost in the middle of the street. Notice I said apparently and allegedly a lot with that story. I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue, so you guys aren't thinking about getting sick on the tour. So, you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
Yeah.
Sure.
We're going to go this way.
Okay. All right. So just keep this guy on, and you'll tell me.
Yeah, for now.
Okay. Cool.
Just keep it running.
Yep.
So that's not a device that catches something every single night.
Yeah.
But when I do catch it, man, it's great stuff.
Okay.
You never know. That's the great thing about this. I can tell the same stories every night like I do, and I have no idea what's going to happen.
Right.
I leave for Florida on Friday morning.
Okay.
I'm doing an investigation at the St. Augustine Lighthouse that another podcast invited me to come do. So, and I just moved 2 days ago, so it's like everything is frantic right now. My new house is all over the place. Like, the dogs aren't settled in yet. We're taking them with us to Florida just because they're not settled. So.
Okay.
Oh,
You just moved here, though.
What's
You just
that?
moved to Charleston.
Yeah. I went. I didn't move downtown. I just moved out of my apartment because I needed a bigger office.
Oh,
so we moved
okay.
into a 4-bedroom house because I get a lot of house guests. I'm from the north. So,
Okay.
My family's from Ohio. My wife's family's from Pennsylvania. So we get a lot of house guests. Like, staying at an apartment isn't working anymore. We just got to go.
Right,
So,
right.
again, I just wanted to kind of give you like, all right, my back twinged a little bit from all the moving when we were walking. I'm like, all
Okay,
right.
my back hurts too.
Yeah.
We've been averaging, 15,000?
Yeah. We've been touring for sure.
That's interesting. What's the name of that lighthouse? St. Augustine?
St. Augustine's Lighthouse.
Did you look at Facebook today?
No.
The Bouchers are there.
Oh, really?
They're in Maine for a wedding. Wait, Maine, right?
Florida.
Oh, no, never mind.
Well, a little off.
No, we're staying here for a
Oh,
minute.
okay.
Yeah, don't go too far.
Okay.
I'm going to show you more about... So normally, you have to remember, too, you'll hear me say this a lot. When I have my groups of 10, like, this is a great practice spot. First off, we're so close to Big John's. His teammates like to come through. But this is where we keep your horses for your carriage rides.
Yep.
If you guys took a carriage
We
ride.
did that, yeah.
So you guys can probably smell them. We're not going to get too loud with that spirit box of yours, the one that makes noise, because they don't like the white noise. They will kick the walls and scare the hell out of all of us. But the history here is super simple. This is where I teach the spirit box teams. Like, this is not TV. This is not, is somebody here? Because if somebody answers no, somebody's here. Like, we stay away from yes or no questions all night long. So with this particular location, I usually say something along the lines, let's make it simple so you guys can actually learn how to use it. You know the answers. If somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Obviously, we're looking and listening for the color red. However, we're using song lyrics and DJs to convey messages back to us from the dead. The word red might not be in their speech at that time. They might give us something that is specifically red. Fire truck, heart, blood. All three of those things are very specifically red. However, that's a direct answer. I usually wait for 2 clues to really tie something together. If you get the word art on this side and you hear the number 40, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team. So that's where I'm like, okay, that's something solid. The number 40 by itself, nothing. The word art by itself, nothing. So if I put them together, it makes more sense to me, like we actually have one of his teammates here with us.
Okay.
But again, I'm always looking for those very specific, detailed clues. Not to mention, a lot of the stories I tell tonight, there's multiple people in them with the same name. I need to know who the heck we're talking to, as you'll find out with the next stop. But again, we're just going to pass through here slowly, just so you can kind of get used to how your camera works.
Okay.
And we're going to dive into much deeper history at the next location. Any words have popped up?
Yeah. Where's those?
Anything else before that?
Oh, that's when I do that.
Right.
Okay. Where's history? Oops.
Nope, you're good. Hit the scroll again. So,
Oh.
Stone, Dylan.
Store. Dylan. Average. Statute.
So again, to me, that's all 80%. I'm going to call that 80%. Yes, it doesn't mean anything. So I'm pretty sure there's no Dylan on the roster from Big John's team. Again, we're talking 1947. That was not a popular name. And I look at that roster probably 5-6 times a week. So, all right, I'm going to say we're going to walk slowly and see what else pops up.
Okay.
Movement. Actually, that's what popped up.
Again, yeah, I seen it pop up, and we were starting to move. So again, it's just a matter of what's going on around us. Now, my average temperature on my end, George, is 80 degrees.
Okay.
I don't know what you're showing on your end yet.
Well, so now it'll say it where? Average.
So you have a center crosshairs.
Yeah. Oh, that's the average? Okay. 112, 110.
So as you move, it's wherever that crosshairs lands, that's that's what it's gonna measure. So I kind of look at, like, you have 100 down here at the bottom, and then the 115 up there. So it's almost like we need to, because that's really high. It's definitely not over 100 degrees on these buildings.
Yeah,
so
right.
Let's stop it for a second.
Okay.
Still.
Okay. Here we go. Should I do it again?
Yep.
Okay.
Now we
tight
got
circle. Okay. Tight square, I guess.
Yep. Wanted to make sure we are on target with our temperatures.
Cool.
Again, you never know what's going to pop up. So last night I had things drop down into 67, 66 degree range,
Nice.
which was really nice. On a nice cool night just like this, it was average of about 83 to 86 degrees. Something drops down to 67. Unexplainable.
Yeah, yeah.
Especially when we're getting answers out of the spirit box at that particular time.
Okay.
So. Alright, so. Yeah, I take it as a weird spot that the other stores won't go to. So, you guys don't know where to park in Charleston by the time you're done. I don't know what else to tell you. But this is an interesting place. This is the Pinkview Mansion site. This is where Charles and Eliza Pinkview live. No. So.
Like on this right here.
This was their mansion. Yeah, so their mansion sat in the front. Eliza's garden lined up with this left tree over here and came all the way across. And we're standing where the servant quarters would have been for the home. So it actually overlapped this median a little bit because they did own quite a bit of land. But again, obviously it's not here anymore.
Right.
So let me kind of give you the gist of who these two people were. I'm not going to be giving you questions either, by the way, of like what color was George Washington's white horse. We're going to give you the answers from the spirit boxes, hopefully. But with that said, Eliza and Charles had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. That's 3 Charleses, in case you lost track. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina, so that's a pretty big deal. But you guys are on vacation, and nobody wants to talk about politics, including me. I just like to point it out, because if I don't, something will happen where one of the Charleses will like, Constitution, signed. I'll get a term along those lines, and I should kind of like let it ride.
Okay.
But anyway, we're going to talk about Eliza, because she's way cooler anyway. Eliza married Charles at a young age. I'm not going to tell you how old she was, but I will tell you that Charles was over double her age. So, she married him because her father, over in England, thought he was dying, and he wanted to see all of his kids one last time, bring them all home. She didn't think he was dying, so she stayed put. It's the 1740s. There's no green cards and citizenship and all that mess yet. She married Charles out of love, but also to show her dad.
Did she complain?
No. A little too vague.
She's working.
But again, with that said, she married him because she loved him, and she wanted to, prove to her dad like he's not dying yet. And she was right. He didn't die right away. He started sending her gifts. One of those gifts happens to be indigo. You guys have been here for at least a day that I know of.
Mm-hmm.
You've seen the word a few times.
Yeah.
She experimented with it here to learn how it works and get it right as far as the agriculture. She learned from her Gullah slaves. They're straight from Africa, agriculturists basically. Figured it out here, moved her new cash crop over to Mount Pleasant, just north of here, to one of their other plantations, calls her dad and says, I need somewhere to sell this. Rice plantations are going downhill. We can make millions of dollars with this new indigo seed you sent. Now we have a businesswoman selling internationally in the middle of colonial times. That's something absolutely unheard of.
Mm-hmm.
And as far as her business, I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg, but there's some weird stuff that she likes to talk about. Well, obviously her death is a big one.
Mm-hmm.
So you can ask anything you want to about her death. Hey Eliza, how old were you when you died? Where are you buried? What did you die from? What U.S. president was a pallbearer at your funeral? Like, the president took her to her grave. Like, that's a pretty big deal.
Right, sure.
At his own request. Obviously, you can ask about the mansion. It's not here anymore. Then we can ask about when that tragedy happened. Sometimes we get the year. As far as the children, I always tell my folks to tread lightly. There's a tragedy among those kids that she doesn't want to talk about. So if we poke the bear too much, all activity will stop, which I haven't even checked the EMF. So we got a 2.9. A little bit of a spike, nothing drastic yet. But you can get some names, how many, very simple questions. Let's not go too far into that. One last weird fact about Eliza was she was the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back. So first Eliza died, he married this one. They both go by their maiden name, which starts with the letter L. So I don't have to explain what maiden names are to you guys. When I have my little kids, they're like, what's a maiden name? They're asking what her middle name is. So I just think it's funny. I have to do a lot of explaining, but it's kind of nice when you guys know the lingo. You kind of, you kind of get the gist. I'm going to check you guys in real quick on the whatever website you guys bought your tickets from.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to give you guys kind of a minute. You can turn up your spirit box in here for sure. Now, you don't have to worry about that.
Okay.
I do it all on.
Okay.
But nobody likes to teach her, hovering over their shoulder. So I'm going to kind of give you guys a minute to get used to how these work.
Are we supposed to ask questions?
Yeah, just 2 seconds.
Absolutely.
Yeah, ask some
just
questions.
like they do on TV.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So I keep it low enough.
I would keep it loud enough where you both can hear it. You're not bothering anybody in here. So again, there's no horses that are going to be kicking the walls. But yeah, just put it to where the both of you can hear it.
Okay.
And again, it's recorded. If you don't get anything out of it, that's why I usually give you 2 of them. Because this one will always give us a word list. So if you have a hard time listening to that, it's fine. You can listen to it again in the morning anyway.
Okay.
I got you covered.
Okay.
One last pointer before you guys start traveling around this parking lot. People do not like their cars being filmed, so if somebody's coming to their car, think of it as if you were on your own, you're just going to go the opposite way.
Right.
They don't know what we're doing out here.
Yeah,
So,
sure.
Right.
But yeah,
Okay.
get a head start.
Okay.
Maybe somebody had something go wrong with their ear or their hearing.
Are you listening?
Or that could be it too.
Wait, her name is Eliza.
Liza. Liza.
Eliza.
Eliza, okay.
Yep.
Eliza. Can you hear your ear? You can hear Eliza. What is your son's name? What is your husband's name? What is your husband's name again? What happened to your house?
Stay close.
Eliza, what happened to your house?
Eliza, are you happy? Yes, again, worse.
No,
Huh?
still ear. Are you listening, Eliza?
Well, that's a yes or no question.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
no, no.
I catch them every time.
What?
Long time is what I just heard out of it.
Huh.
I don't have any readings over here at all. I'm going to kind of take a quick lap and see if I'm getting any questions.
Okay.
What is your husband's name? Oh, a bicycle? What did you like to do, Eliza? What did you like to do? Did you like to go fishing or ride a bike?
This had an 8.6.
Oh, that's high, right?
I mean, it's definitely activity, and they've never done an archaeological dig here. So there's nothing underneath this that could be making this device go off.
Okay.
But again, they never stand still. That's why they call it ghost hunting. You always got to
Oh, okay. You're moving. Yep.
always move.
What happened to your dog? Tell me about your dog. What was in your garden? What did you plant? Did you sell what you planted? Did you make things from it? What did you make? What activities did you like to do, Eliza? Play the piano? Oh, and sing too? Oh, you're a morning person.
Slight readings, but nothing super high yet. Have we heard anything yet?
Hi.
Okay. Have you heard anything on that one sweeping?
You know, I can't really tell because it's
Nothing
heavy.
particular, yeah.
It's not clear enough.
Yeah, it's hard to.
I don't know if it's the radio station.
And that's what we want. So again, we're
It's just it uses the voices coming through on the radio, right? Yeah.
Right, and I think, is that
I
the
think
radio
makes sense.
station speaking or is that
Well,
somebody else?
that's the idea, I guess.
Yeah.
Right?
And everybody has a little bit of a different method. And the reason why I do it this way for the tours is because you guys aren't used to doing this every day. So I need, disembodied voices, the stuff they give you on TV, those are rarities. Like it is, I might get one every 3 to 4 months. One. So when you guys need those voices to hear, and it's not coincidence that, Eliza will spit out a number here, or, the name of the president pops up. Like, it actually popped up last night, and I'll tell you once before we leave, like what actually happened. But again, to hear a specific president's name in history on a radio station, that's not a coincidence. And I've gotten it here several times. For 20s.
It sounds like a man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't
Could be.
matter. Again.
Gonna go flipping through, right?
Yep. There you go. Perfect. Right around there.
Yeah.
I'll just let you know what I'm hearing. Eliza, tell us how old you were when you got married to Carl.
41.
Or 21 hits. But that's not the right answer.
Oh. No, really, Eliza, tell us how old you were when you got married.
I remember. Giving me little spikes, like up to 3.
Try the question. Eliza, what president carried your coffin?
Does he need time to think and respond?
Well, they're also searching for the right phrase to be able to give us the answers to.
Mm-hmm.
Cycles of multitude.
Eliza, what was your husband's name? Liam?
No.
Yes, sir.
Eliza, what's your favorite flower?
That's actually a pretty common question people will go rogue with. I can't prove it, but I get the same answer. I've had it multiple times, and it's not indigo.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I asked her what she grew. Eliza, what did you grow in your garden?
come on, Eliza, these are the same questions I do every night. Give us something.
What happened
It's slaves
to-
here, right? So slaves, yeah.
Yeah.
Eliza, what's your favorite slave's name?
Get closer, make it go to purple.
Purple?
So these are on different colors when they get close.
Yeah, okay.
So, and again, if I'm moving, it's going to jostle. So there's a way to reset it. So you'll hear a little click and reset it.
Okay.
So that way I know it's not my motion making it go off.
Got it.
But it went
Eliza, how old were you when you got married? Just so when you're moving, it goes all over the place. But
yeah,
when
so
you're standing
if
still,
I jostle it, it's
Yeah.
going to go off.
Yeah.
Because it's just an EMF field being generated around the antenna. So
Okay.
when something breaks it or movement too quick,
But
it's
if
going to
you're
make it
just
go
standing
off.
there, it shouldn't go up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if I'm holding it still like this, it shouldn't do anything.
Right. Right.
That's the point. These also work independently. So I can have a reading here and not here and vice versa.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Those are two different types of EMF fields that they're measuring and generating.
Cool.
I know, a lot of weird sciencey stuff.
Yes. Yeah.
Bible. Okay.
Eliza, oh, what year did you die?
Not good. How old were you when you died? Eliza, how old were you when you died?
Eliza, you know all the questions we asked. Tell us anything you want about your death. The president at your funeral, how old you were, what year it was.
How did you die?
It's got a 3.7, 3.9. and then it went away.
How did you die, Eliza?
Eliza, what was your father's name?
What was your father's name, Eliza? Eliza, how did you die?
Eliza, how many slaves did you have?
You can see how like this thing is moving around. You know how quickly it moves.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just from a little bit of a jostle of me turning it a little bit. You'll hear it on the audio. It went to 9.3 and held there for a split second.
Mm-hmm.
Where at?
I was over in that corner. The irony to 9.3 is that's the year she died. 1793. So again, might be kind of a stretch, but
Yeah.
it did hold for longer than what it normally would.
Right.
Just,
Right.
So again, nothing I can prove to you guys other than like you can hear my expression like, oh, 9.3. I know what that means.
1893, okay.
1793.
Oh,
Colonial times.
well, yeah.
Oh, that was me.
Eliza, how many children did you have? Africa.
What do you got now?
Africa. Across.
Nope.
Oops, sorry.
It's okay. Nope. There you go. Hit that one. It said Africa.
Yes. Africa across. Cover Africa across.
Well, I just told you her slaves were straight from Africa.
Oh.
Okay.
You
Okay.
just asked her if she had slaves.
Yep.
How many slaves did you have, Eliza?
I'm getting high readings right here. So, see the numbers moving around?
Mm-hmm.
Did they come from Africa directly?
I got nothing.
Eliza, where were your parents from?
Liza, what's your husband's name?
It says 104.
How old were you when you died? How old were you when you got married? How many husbands did you have? How many children did you have? Were they girls or boys?
one more word come across on your screen, and then I'll give you the answers. I just want to see what's going to come up with that Africa, because I don't think I've ever seen Africa come up on that before. Like that's a pretty specific.
Yeah.
Manager. Alright, so that's definitely part of the 80%. I'm going to shut off this REM pod because it's not giving me anything anyway. Let's turn your spirit box down. You could stop your recording, kind of give your hand a little break. Let me give you the answer. Have Smith to scare you. It's going to hurt. Yeah. So you kind of know where you're at, and then we'll definitely be turning up that spirit box to see what we can get. So the building with the crosses on it. Those are not crosses. Those are earthquake bolts. You guys are from California. You should be pretty familiar with those. Normally I have to explain them. Those are the very first earthquake bolts that we put in Charleston because that is the oldest government building on the East Coast that is still standing. So it was finished in 1713. So yeah, it's an old building. The interesting thing about it, it was a gunpowder magazine. I told you guys about the Charlestown walls earlier. This was the road where the Charlestown Wall was. This is Cumberland Street. It went up past the powder magazine, started going south towards the battery. It's tucked into the corner on purpose. The water's this way. So if a ship rolls up and shoots a cannon, it's going to have a hard time reaching it. But let's say it goes all the way through the 32-inch thick walls and blows up the gunpowder. There's sand in the roof from 1712. It's going to explode up in the air and then fall to put out the fire. Another great idea like earthquake bolts, but that shit don't work either. So we had another powder magazine close to the battery, obviously much closer to the water, got attacked, sand went up in the air, fell, couldn't put out the fire, the whole building burned to the ground.
That's a good idea, though.
It is a great idea. And the sand is still there. So again, sand doesn't disintegrate. So that's why it's still there. With that said, all of that history, sorry, I'm waiting for the motorcycle to go by. This building, it's a government building, so of course it took 10 years to build. So from 1703 to 1713, the reason why we're here is because our story takes place in 1708, and it is a familiar place to that female pirate that I'm about to go through. So, picture this. There's a lot of weird twists on this one. 1708, a young lady moves here, Anne Cormack. She's with her dad, his mistress. His mistress is her mom. You guys with me so far? The three of them are getting away from his wife. So, pretty weird twist, but they move all the way from Ireland by boat here because she's a scorned wife.
So they're a couple?
No, it's his daughter. She's moving with her parents.
Okay.
But the mother is not his wife, it's his mistress.
Right.
Okay.
So, they move here. The mom dies pretty quickly. Dad buys a plantation up in Georgetown. It's about an hour from here, car ride. So, but he's sending his daughter down here, teenage daughter, to, sell the crops and things like that in downtown busy Charleston. Sorry, it's just blowing my mind that the church is lit up. I keep looking over there. It never lit up at night. Somebody forgot to turn the lights off. But, so the building is familiar. We're going to fast forward 1713. It's finished. 1715, pirates are coming through town. She's stoked. Why? Rumor had it when she was a young lady back in Ireland, she killed one of her servants back there with a knife to the belly. Like, she was pretty badass. So when pirates are coming through, she's excited. She falls in love pretty quickly. His name is James Bonney. Dad doesn't approve. He's a filthy pirate. Who's going to approve of that? I'm not. So they run away to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack becomes Anne Bonny, your most famous female pirate of the Golden Age. So if you're into pirates, you should probably already know that name. So she started her career right here. Now, when she gets there, James Bonney, her new husband, is not who she thought he was. He's a privateer. Makes him a spy for the British. So this is not the Jack Sparrow that she wanted, right? She wants somebody with his own ship and pretty hardcore. She falls in love again, guy number 2. John Rackham, a.k.a. Calico Jack. Much cooler name, has his own ship. They call him Calico Jack because he wears the jackets of the men he kills. So he's a pretty dapper young man. Females curse pirate ships, so she can't become part of the crew, so they strike a deal. Jack says you can become part of the crew if you hide your gender and dress like the crew. She's okay with this cross-dressing. Dad used to actually hide her as a boy back in Ireland to keep her away from his wife. So she's okay. She just wants to be a pirate. So she's allowed to be a female in his quarters, which means she's going to eventually get pregnant. Puts 2 and 2 together. So you can't have a pregnant pirate guy on the crew. So he drops her off with some friends in Cuba. Go have the baby, come back, we'll figure it out later. Now, with that said, she comes back with no baby. She's also dressed like a female. She doesn't care anymore about hiding her gender. Knowing her mentality, she's going to make Jack even more mad. He just captured another pirate crew. She's going to go flirting, just like Anne Bonny does. She's still Anne Bonny, by the way, still married to the first guy. The guy she's flirting with down below deck reveals his gender to be a female, pretending to be dressed like a guy to be part of the pirate crew that Calico Jack just captured. So, I know, lots of twists in this one. And there's Jack. He's here every night, most nights. I just named him Jack.
Yep.
Obviously because of the story. But anyway, so Anne and this young lady that was hiding, her name is Mary Reed. So now we have Anne Bonny and Mary Reed. The British find out where they are. They send their entire fleet to come capture this one pirate ship. The men are too drunk to come up and fight, so it's literally Anne and Mary by themselves trying to fight off an entire fleet of ships. Well, obviously it's going to get taken, right? This is not going to be a good fight. So as they're all being arrested, Anne's last words were, "You should have fought like a man instead of going down like a dog." So the word dog will show up from time to time.
Okay.
The judge, his name is Nicholas Laws. It's not me when you guys hear or see my name, it's the judge. He wants to see the two men by themselves, November 28, 1720. So, with that said, all of Calico Jack and his men are tried and hung. They're dead. They're gone. So the two men go in front of the judge. They reveal their gender. He doesn't care that Anne and Mary are female. You're still pirates. You're still going to hang. We plead our bellies, was the last thing they said, trying to save themselves one last time, claiming to be pregnant. He still doesn't care. You can't hang a pregnant woman in 1720. It's illegal. So he's going to just delay their hanging at this point. So they go back to jail. Dad is here in Charleston. He bails her out with all of his Irish money. Brings her back home. She remarries. Guy number 4. Has 4 children. Dies at the age of 84. That's all we know. As far as Mary Reed goes, she died in a Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. It's probably bumpy and gross and scurvy and whatever else you want to come up with.
Yeah.
So, I know, long, weird, twisted story, but there's a lot of key words in there that hopefully things will start to pop up. As we get closer to this building, obviously we want to turn up the spirit box so we can actually hear it, the red one, and kind of go through some questions. This is either a super great spot or a super dead spot. So I'll have my EMF out so we'll kind of see what's going on up there. You're going to see a lot of tours cut through here. So let's get close to the building and see what we can capture.
Yeah.
The only 2 things that I did not give you were the name of Calico Jack's ship and the name of Anne Bonny's parents. So that's something that
Okay.
if you want to actually ask questions. There was an 8.5 there for a second.
Oh, a beauty.
Here's the number 5.
7.
7.
Show up. So, that could be related to 2 different things. And this were, again, extra clue. John Calhoun,
Van Diemen.
that's probably the 80%. John Calhoun is buried over here, 7th Vice President. The doctor from the Dueling Alley story, only half a block away, born July 7th, 7/7. So again, if 7 shows up here, I always need that extra clue, hopefully very, very close to it. But you also heard the number, I heard the number 5 on the red one. So
9.
it's weird because normally there's no EMF here at all. This is giving me slight readings, like 1.5 to 1.8.
Right. And the idea is, I mean, coming back here, why would this be a spot? Just because of the pirates were all here?
Well, just because the building is familiar during the time frame that she was doing selling for her father. I mean, you would imagine.
Okay.
They got here in 1708. She probably started selling in 1709. She didn't leave till 1715. That's 6 years. There's not many buildings this old left in Charleston.
Okay.
So again, they actually have claims that you can find her all over town, like little shadow figures and things like that. I come here because obviously the history of the building, you know, is a great tour stop. But I have had the thermal imaging act up with the red spirit box. When things like start to collide, like we're getting something's going on. This normally doesn't do anything, and that's not me. So again, something's going on. So hopefully, we're getting words that are coming through on the red spirit box.
The words coming through are 7 Addison. Ask him. What is?
What is it that you want to ask me?
What got you interested in this business?
So, I used to always have experiences as a kid, but I wasn't allowed to talk about it because I was raised Orthodox. And then it was revealed to me that my grandmother knew how to read playing cards, the old gypsy style. It was a family secret. So after that, I just kind of went my own way and started just doing this for fun, had a regular job, raising a family. Obviously, I told you I had 2 kids. And then whole new life later. I moved to Charleston, away from Myrtle Beach, and because that's where I was living. And I quit my 6-figure job and used my degrees. I'm a writer, first and foremost. So when I'm not ghost hunting with you guys, I'm writing fiction about ghosts in history and that kind of thing. That's what I do. I write books. So books don't feed the table. So I love to take people ghost hunting and teach them things. And I mean, all my degrees are in writing of some way, shape, or form. So, but again, it's a blog, it's a podcast. It was a hobby, so that was just kind of like what I did on the weekends. We went to vacation or whatever. We always made a quick pit stop, and I just kept going and going and going. And now it's turning into, like, this is a full enterprise. Like, I just hired somebody to help co-host a podcast with me that knows all about researching and all the equipment that I use. And so, I mean, that's what pretty much got me started. Working with psychics. I didn't have all the gear. You know, I had psychic friends that I was working with, you know, investigating places. And then I just love to research because I'm a writer. So that's where that comes into play. That's not me. And there was a 1.3 at that point. But, yeah.
Glance sign.
Glance sign. That would be the sign over across the street. Maybe it's telling us to actually go take a look. You got your thermal running, right? Let's make sure, if another tour is not there, we'll go over there and take a look.
Okay.
I just don't like to get in their way.
It says glance sign.
That's interesting. All of this blipping is from me moving.
Again, what's the full name of the girl?
Ann Bonnie.
Ann Bonnie. Ann Bonnie.
Set that off. Yeah,
Ann Bonnie.
they're all stopped. Once they leave, we'll go up and take a look at the sign. So I've had that, like, say, because I've, on a smaller group like this, just like this, somebody was filming me and the person holding the red spirit box.
Yeah.
A white film came over them only, and the spirit box stopped working.
Ah, that's a good one, right?
Yeah, we walked away 10 minutes, or 10 feet away. It kicked back on record. It takes 3 buttons. You guys seen me fiddling with it when we first got started. It was already recording, but it gave me 2 separate recordings. It was the craziest thing. And that's stuff exciting. Like that, I can't make it up.
Yeah.
What a feeling.
Effect.
Oh, yes, no. Ann Bonnie, who did you kill?
that's where I still test areas out. So if somebody's like, oh, that corner's giving me stuff, I'm like, you're right next to the light post. That's obviously not me. And I normally don't get any readings over here at all. Like, it's normally like dead silence.
Okay.
So hasn't really gone over 4 yet.
What happened to your friend?
What did that say? Power?
What happened to your friend?
Anything crazy moving on your end?
I think so. Keep it still a little bit.
Yeah, what's nice about I sent it to YouTube, that way you guys can watch it on your TV if you want.
Okay.
So if there's something questionable, I just tell my daughter to go to my channel, and I was like, look at last night's video, see what you find.
Right.
Where did you travel?
I mean, half the time she's on tour. So when she's down here from Myrtle Beach from her mom's, like, she comes along and helps out.
Right.
Even bouncing around like a small group of 10 people, it can wear you out. So
Oh, sure.
I'll send her off with a spirit box group.
Tell me about your father, Anne.
awesome when that stuff happens. I get so stoked. Again, when you catch it in real time, it's exciting. You know, the research is exciting too because you stumble across things. But
Sure.
it's that real time moment. Come on, Ann, tell us where you lived. Where did you grow up?
Why did you become a pirate?
It's a great question, Ann. Why did you become a pirate? Something I can prove.
How old were you when you became a pirate?
Ann's not here. Tell us who you are. What's your first name? Common. This is common name.
Which common name? Joe, John, George?
Mary. You gotta repeat it back to us so we know.
Quickly.
Uh-huh.
What was your friend's name? What is your name? What's your last name? Your family name? How did I having trouble remembering? What is your name again? Did you have any siblings? How many siblings did you have? How many children? What is your family name? Where did your family come from?
Just got here. It said just got here. Who is here then? We need your name. We can't see you.
What is your name? Where were you before this? Where did you die?
Next to Camping World over there. Alright, George, I think we're going to call it. We're not getting much over here.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything
Yeah, the quick
odd.
rate hasn't changed.
Yeah.
It's not very quick.